We had 12 sales this weekend across eBay and Poshmark. Mercari has been dead for me. I'll have a sale trickle in every once in a while. But let me know in the comments if you guys are experiencing this with Mercari. Mercari used to be better for me than Poshmark, but now the tables have turned. So it's crazy how that stuff works all the time. It's very interesting. But yeah, 12 sales, 10 eBay, 2 Poshmark, $316.21 for the full weekend sales. I listed 18 items this weekend and sold 12, so that is definitely not bad for my store's metrics. And you can do this too, so stick around with me. We're gonna go through all these 12 sales and we're gonna see what sells on eBay super fast. First up on Poshmark is these VEVO Barefoot shoes that sold in a women's size 40. They're the Neo Trail shoes. They sold for $45. It took 5 months for them to sell and I got them at Savers. I don't really remember what I paid for these because what I do in my spreadsheet is I write down obviously what it sells for in that year, and then if it doesn't sell in that year, it gets taken off as a loss and then moved over to next year's spreadsheet, but then the price does get taken off to not confuse my P&L sheet for my accountant. So sold for $45. I believe I probably paid around like $12 for them. I don't really like to pay more than like $15 at the thrift store for shoes unless I know I can make really good money. So I probably paid about like 12 or less for these. Not bad, not a bad flip, but they did take 5 months to sell. This Patagonia Refugio Day Pack, it's a 3-liter, I believe. It sold for $37.50 on offer. I had it set at $44.97 and it sold in 8 days. I picked this up at an estate sale after the full day of estate selling. It was a $3.03 cost of goods. That's what I like to do. I'll go to a whole bunch of yard sales and estate sales in a day, and then I'll check how many items I got, divided by how much it costs, and that is my buy cost per item. It's actually featured in my latest live on YouTube, so definitely go check that out if you want to see everything I grabbed that day for $3.03 cost of goods. That backpack also had 3 watchers, so I was definitely waiting on a good offer. I shot them back a $39 offer. They sent me $37.50, and you definitely know I took that. Next up on eBay, we have this Christian Dior Capture Cream that sold for $35 on offer. It was free with a whole bunch of creams that we already had in our house. We didn't want them, so I sold them and it made me 35 bucks. This one took 5 months to sell, and beauty is a really great category to look out for when you're out shopping because it can sell for really good money, for decently fast and good profits. So try to get it as cheap as possible. Another eBay sale, it's this Diesel men's belt, sold for $34.97. It sold in 7 days and it was part of the same estate sale where I got the backpack and that Grateful Dead belt buckle. If you guys haven't seen that live, definitely go check it out, and I'll be releasing a video on the Grateful Dead belt buckle that sold for $120 in 3 days. Absolutely insane. But this one sold for $34. I always like to look for belts and all that stuff everywhere. Some good sell for good money, and it's super easy ship. I mean, look how small that is to ship out. Again, that one was a $3.03 cost of goods. This Hallmark keepsake guitar ornament that plays Freebird by Lynyrd Skynyrd sold for $30 in 16 days. I got this at an estate sale. I believe it is part of that same live, and I show you guys all that stuff that I get. So yeah, definitely check it out. Again, $3.03 cost of goods. These Reebok hiking boots are a Poshmark sell. They're a size 10.5. They're a little bit on the older side, which was why I think they sold for so fast. In 15 days, they sold it for $27, and an estate sale find, I paid $2.90 for these. This Umbro World Champions Collection Argentina jersey sold for $26.75. This was part of my 15% off sale. It took 1 year to sell because I got this last year when I went to the Oregon coast on vacation. I also went thrifting and I picked some stuff up. This one was definitely find the right buyer because I did receive a lot of watchers and offers, but they were way too low. Since it's new with tags, I definitely wanted to get something better for it, and I'm glad I waited because it sold for $26.75. This is a cool thrift store find. This Pirelli Collection Equestrian Vest in a size XL sold for $25.49. It sold in 2 months, and this was one of the last thrift store pickups I did before leaving for Mexico. This is an awesome find. I already made a video on this one, so you guys can check that one out. But I mean, I can't believe that someone donated this and the condition that it's in. And I paid $7.87 at the thrift store. Halloween sleeveless dress in a size large sold for $17.19. It took 10 months to sell, and this was a yard sale find from last year, obviously. I think I released a video on this one. I don't know if you guys remember it. This Kobe Bryant crew socks sold on eBay for $15.29. They sold in 25 days, and I always pick up a whole bunch of these crew socks when I go down to Mexico. That's another way to save on my trip. I always like to pick these up because I got it for $2.50. The markets in Mexico are so great. It's like a farmer's market and a flea market all in one. They have a whole bunch of new clothes, lots of fruit and vegetables. You get a lot of snacks that day, lots of candy, and you gotta go do some shopping. Rydell Raiders Coin Bank sold for $16.99, and it took 2.5 months to sell. I picked this up in a full day of yard selling. After that full day, I paid 61 cents for everything that I got that day. It was an awesome yard sale day, and I picked up a whole bunch of good stuff. Last but not least, this Red Heart sparkling yarn sold for $3.40. It sold in 3 months, but it was from that huge free yarn pickup, and I just listed everything. Honestly, what I'm doing now is I am moving away from those smaller profits. I'm trying to list things now that will sell for like 15 plus. Instead of using that time on very smaller profits, I can use that time on bigger things or ways to scale my business, other things that I can do in this business or for my personal life. So I am getting away from those smaller profits, and I'm gonna just list things that sell for 15 and up. That's just the way that I'm gonna be handling my business now, since I don't have a lot of space, as many of you know. I try to find the fastest selling items. I try to focus on a high sell-through rate to move my store as fast as possible. I am currently selling 1% of my store every 90 days, so that's definitely not bad at all. I'd love to move that up just a little bit, but as a one-woman team, I think I'm doing quite excellent. And that brings me to this point that you can do this too. You can start now. It's never too late to start this, and I have a lot of fun doing it every single day. Even as a side hustle or as a full-time gig, you can get some extra money in your pocket. Look, just this weekend I made $300, whereas on a typical weekend at a 9 to 5, I wouldn't be getting paid these next 2 days. So now look, I got an extra $300 in my pocket to go out, find more stuff, save up for a vacation, whatever it is that you want to do. You can do it reselling on eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. Just stick to eBay for now, learn it, and then move on to the other ones. That's my biggest piece of advice I can give for anyone starting this stuff out. But thank you guys so much for watching this 12 sales, $300 in sales. What more can you ask for doing this fun thing that we all do? It's a great time to become a reseller as markets and all this crazy stuff is going on in the world. You can bet that we hold a lot of power in this. So let me know if you guys are going to start this hustle, if you guys already do this hustle. What do you think of the items I picked up? And until next time, may your finds be rare and your flips be legendary.